live and direct from the Golden State. It's intelligent talk media, The Denice Gary Show. Now, here's Denice Gary.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Denice Gary Show. We've got a fascinating broadcast for you today. This is incredible what I have been learning in the past 24 hours. You're not going to believe the kind of pornographic sex education that's being taught in California's public schools, starting with 5-year-olds in our kindergartens up and down this state. What I have to share with you today, I hope that all of you, first of all, will share this broadcast out to everyone you know. I have to think that there's got to be at least a few Democrats and independents that care about teaching your children in public school about pornographic materials. I'm telling you, the stuff we have to share with you today is absolutely incredible. And there's people that need to be fired in the school districts. There are people that need to be held accountable. And I've got with me on the phone right now a person that, you know, I've just spoken to now a couple times by phone. She's incredible. Her name is, now correct me if I'm wrong, Aileen Blachowski. Is that correct?
Yes, Aileen Blachowski, you got it.
Aileen Blachowski. And this is a wife and mother. She has 6 children. Good thing, Aileen, that you got a bachelor's degree in journalism and public relations. Apparently you've really needed it. She's using her journalism and public relations skills to really deal with this horrific issue that our children are facing. We want to begin, Aileen, I want to right away talk about this pornographic sex ed, this indoctrination of gender fluid theory, and how it's related to what the Democrats passed back in 2015. So Aileen, let's first start. Let's tell people about the law. So tell the audience about California's Assembly Bill 329 on sexual health education. Tell us just very briefly, very succinctly, a little bit about that.
So it was called the California Healthy Use Act when it was passed, and you're right, it was passed in 2015, and it was authored by Dr. Shirley Weber, a Democrat out of San Diego. Now, it sounds like a great thing. What they did is they said that comprehensive sexuality education had to be taught in schools, and they mandated that it be taught once in junior high and once in high school. But they left a loophole in the law that said that school districts were at liberty to teach it at any grade as long as they could teach it in an age-appropriate manner. The bill called for all instruction to be medically accurate, age-appropriate, non-biased, and should not espouse any religious views. Well, it gets 5 stars on 3 of those points because it is heavily biased and it is not age-appropriate. And we found plenty of medical inaccuracies in the curricula. But it certainly doesn't espouse any religious views. So that's the law. Nobody knew that it passed when it passed, but schools had to be compliant with it as of last school year. And that's when you started hearing about parents who had kids coming home from school with some crazy information, and parents started speaking up. So about a year ago, Informed Parents of California was formed, and that's our organization. We're here to fight this crazy sex ed and to reclaim our parental rights. They've been written out of the law. The letter of the law expressly says parents do not have a right to opt out of any discussion on gender, gender orientation, gender expression, sexual orientation, any of that, as long as it's outside the confines of, physical sex ed. So if they want to talk about it in history or literature, in PE, any other place they want to talk about it, sexual orientation, you don't have a right to say that your kid shouldn't be exposed to it.
Well, of course you do. They're your children. You should be able to have your children opt out of anything and everything that you consider inappropriate. I mean, this thing about, and it shouldn't have to be an excused absence either, because an excused absence is just making sure that the states give money to the schools. So, to me, it's a money-making racket. But let's go back. I looked at this one article. It's called California's New Sex Ed Curriculum. It talks about material, and I literally looked at the material. And I couldn't believe that in the textbooks and the things that they're providing for our children, that there's education on lubricants to use during sex toys, anal sex. I mean, this is the type of thing that, according to all the resources I have in front of me, this is what the California public schools are teaching children. Do I have that correct?
You absolutely do. I think I also provided you a document, probably 50 or so pages long, with different pages from the curriculum, and so you see the evidence. And this is the same evidence that we provide to parents on our Facebook page, which is Informed Parents of California. And you know what? This is shocking to most adults.
I don't even know.
Aileen, with the content. So I can't imagine trying to teach this to a 13-year-old in a classroom with mixed boys and girls and expect it to just handle it. They don't. They're not well equipped to handle it.
I don't know how to process some of this, Aileen. I mean, there's things in here. I'm not going to tell anybody my age, but let me tell you something, Aileen. There's stuff in here that I didn't even know about. And
no, that's right. That's right. But let me just say this. You know what? It's really important to get this very important fact out there. We aren't prudish about sex.
Right.
Okay? This is not about being prudish about sex. This is about protecting children and protecting their health, especially those who identify as LGBTQ, because the medical inaccuracies in this law. Okay, if we're going to normalize anal, oral, and vaginal sex to kids, and then go tell them at every turn, use a condom, use a condom, use a condom. Nowhere in any of the approved curricula that the state has approved to be compliant with this law, nowhere in any one of them will you find the most important fact, which is that condoms are not FDA approved for anal sex. It's an off-label use of the product. No one will ever tell you that, but go ask the FDA and they will tell you themselves. The condom companies don't claim that they're FDA approved for that. They will not say on their packaging that it's for that use. They can't. They'd be sued. It's not allowable. We're putting kids at risk. This is about protecting kids, not about being prudish about sex.
You're absolutely right, but I want to say that I'm deeply disturbed that even in kindergarten now, they are teaching these little children. I want to show my audience. There's a book called The Kid's Guide to Gender Identity. It's entitled, Who Are You? Mm-hmm. Now, I don't even know why anybody would be asking a 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I can't imagine even having a conversation with a child about who they are. We're looking at a picture of a teacher. It shows the teacher writing on the board, I am, and then a girl or boy, and then it says, can people see that, Robert? Can they see that? Can they see it now?
Yes.
Okay. So it says, I am, and it shows the word girl, and it shows the word boy, and then it says both. Are you both? Are you both a girl or a boy? Are you neither a girl or a boy? Are you just you? I mean, what kind of crazy, ridiculous, confusing kind of mumbo jumbo. It says, and then in this book, ladies and gentlemen, let me just read just a moment, Aileen, just a few of these words. It says, these are just a few words people use. People use words like trans, genderqueer, non-binary, gender fluid, transgender, gender neutral, agender, new choice, bigender, third gender, two-spirit. It shows a little boy with his dog, and then two other little children. This is what they're teaching children in school today?
You know what? One person who fights alongside us, she called this mental molestation of children.
Yes.
Little kids they don't actually have the cognitive capability to even sort out what all of this stuff means. They're concrete thinkers. And I mean, you can talk to an expert about that, and they'll tell you they do not have the abstract ability to even remotely wrap their head around anything that you say. So if you're getting them to parrot back words to you, they can't understand what they mean. You know, I can teach my 3-year-old 2 + 2 is 4, 4 + 4 is 8, 8 + 8 is 16. She doesn't abstractly understand that all the parts are adding up, right?
Right.
But she can just parrot back what we're saying. This is what's happening in our classroom. They think that because children can parrot this back, they understand that they're not biased, which is just a crock. And so it's really what's happened is that our schools have become indoctrination centers. There is no science to back up this theory of gender fluidity in any way, shape, or form. And so we are absolutely confusing children, setting them up for, just all kinds of cognitive dissonance. They can't really handle what's being presented to them. And it's not a positive thing. It's a very negative thing. It's damaging yet again for children. We're confusing them. And when they grow up, this is just this whole other issue, right? Adolescence and young childhood, difficult enough as it is with everything else we have going on.
Yeah,
and we have to add in this, and this is supposed to help their mental health. It doesn't. All the statistics show kids are more depressed,
more confused,
suicidal. There's more problems with kids today than there ever has been before, and this is only a contributing factor.
Absolutely. This is something that will absolutely contribute to mental illness, I believe, in our children and our young people. And to think that as young as the age of 4, pornographic, age-inappropriate, highly biased, medically inaccurate information is going out to young people, and that's somehow supposed to provide a well-educated group of American citizens that can then go out and lead constructive lives when you fill their minds with information that I'm not even sure, Aileen, at the age of 15, 16, they could even process.
No, they really can't. But where this gets really dangerous, and this is a serious question. And it's not just every parent. Yes, every parent should be asking this question, but every taxpayer in this state, because we are funding this garbage.
Right.
We all need to ask ourselves, why is the state of California systemically exposing young children to sexually explicit material and teaching them the language of consent for sex? That's happening in these curricula. Why would you do that? There's only one class of people who expose young children to sexually explicit material, have them focus on the pleasure points of those things, and teach them how to consent for sex and what feels good. You know what? We call them criminals. If we're doing this in our schools, how is this not criminal? Parents need to stand up and fight back against this, push back against Sacramento. Educators, superintendents, anybody in the education system who has a conscience needs to stand with parents and children now. There's no more saying, sorry, we're too far downstream from Sacramento where those laws get passed. They need to stand with parents and children and admit altogether, outright, in one loud voice, this is wrong and we must cut this out immediately.
We have to repeal. So ladies and gentlemen, this is what I want you to do. Give me the phone number, please, Robert. I've got the governor's phone number and a general phone number that we can dial. Ladies and gentlemen, I want you to call, well, this is Gavin Newsom's number. Can you give us some numbers from the State Assembly and State Senate? I know we've tried to find just a general number. Aileen, let me say this to my audience, and you let me know if I'm getting this exactly right. We need to call our legislators up there in Sacramento, tell them to repeal AB 329. That's first. We need to take this pornographic, and I'm telling you, ladies and gentlemen, the pictures, I'm not sure it would even be legal or lawful for me to actually show you some of the pictures I've been looking at.
Probably not.
Yeah, I don't think I should show them, even though they're being shown to your children in a public school. And I'm not talking about just middle school children. I'm looking at a picture now of a little boy, and it says page 116. Now this thing that you sent me regarding the outraged parents to rally at the Capitol, we'll get to that in just a moment. But there are several pages in here and page numbers, and it says kindergarten. And it shows chapter 3, page 43, about a little boy that says he's a princess, and how his parents are dressing him up in little dresses. And one of the teachers, it looks like, said, there's nothing enriching about this book. Again, it's called My Princess Boy. So one teacher has said there's nothing enriching about this book, packed as a golden rule lesson. It actually teaches children that the way you are treated by others is of tantamount importance. This is the worst way to equip a child to deal with the slings of this world. That's absolutely right. We don't pay attention to what other people say about us if they're persecuting us.
You're absolutely right. You know, it's interesting that you say that, because just yesterday, I don't know if I was able to get the images to you. This is absolutely shocking, and this is really breaking news. This is not something that we had information about, even at the time that I sent you my press release. Yesterday, in an Orange County Orange County Department of Education, partnered with the LGBTQ community of Orange County, and they presented to daycare workers and preschool teachers information on how to begin to work on their gender stereotypes and create inclusion. And in that training, they absolutely gave them a grid that included historical oppressors and historical victim classes. So what you just described there about a parent, with their head screwed on straight, who says, why are we teaching kids this way? We don't teach kids to pay attention to what people think. That's not what's going on. Our schools are partnering up with the most far left agenda and the far left organizations to absolutely indoctrinate teachers and students on how to become a victim class, how to recognize which one you belong to, and how to recognize who your oppressors are. This is dangerous. This is not the great constitutional republic that we know as the United States of America.
Who is considered to be the oppressor? People that say, you look at your body and understand your gender. Aileen, am I an oppressor? If I was to say to somebody, all you have to do is look in the mirror, and right away you're going to know what gender you are. It's pretty simple. Is that oppressive, Aileen, to say that?
You know what? If you align with the California Teachers Association and the writers of this curriculum and the California Department of Education, you are an oppressor. That was a very oppressive statement.
Wow. And I am an educator. And I want the Kern High School District to know I'll be the first one to say to anybody if they ask me, gosh, I don't understand what gender I am. Trust me. I'm putting the word out now, educators here in California. Here's one educator that if somebody asks me the question, what gender am I? Who am I? I'm going to say, look in the mirror. That's a dead giveaway right there. When you look in the mirror.
We definitely need to call our schools back to some common sense, but that's not going to happen unless parents rise up, community members, grandparents, pastors, anyone of goodwill. And this is a bipartisan issue. This isn't really one-sided, because ultimately, when the state says you don't have a right as a parent to decide what your child is exposed to, I think many people across the political spectrum get their ire, stirred up on that
absolutely,
one. That's
right.
not right. The state does not have a place to say that to us, no matter what letter you wear after your name on Election Day. So I just think, it's an important time for us to unify for the sake of children's health and for protecting them and keeping them safe in schools, and for kicking this kind of garbage to the curb, because we want public schools to be good. We are 47th in the nation out of 50 with regard to math and reading scores currently in California. We really they shouldn't be anywhere near our curriculum. We don't have time to be teaching this to kids. Right. We have to be teaching them about math and English.
Let's teach math, English, and the sciences. We need more engineers. We've got to take a quick break. We've got to pay the bills, Aileen. Can you hold on till after break? And I would like to just discuss just a couple more things, and I want to get to the very important rally that you're having up in Sacramento next week on the 28th. Can you hang on with us, please?
I'd be honored to, Denice.
Thank you so much. Ladies and gentlemen, we've got to take a quick commercial break. We will be right back with you with this very important guest, Aileen Blachowski. Help me, Aileen. Blachowski. Blachowski. Very good. She is the co-founder, ladies and gentlemen, co-founder of Informed Parents of California. Go to their Facebook page, Informed Parents of California. Like it. Get involved. Let's get the word out. Share it in your synagogues, in your churches. Share it at your school. Have meetings. Bring it up. Let's repeal, ladies and gentlemen, AB 329. We'll be right back.
I want to tell you about a place I love to go, Frugatti's Italian Restaurant. Very few locations here provide seating outside in front of a fabulous water fountain with an atmosphere that is reminiscent to me of eating outdoors in Venice. This is real Italian food by real Italians. And what makes it even more so is owner Ralph Frugoletti, who nearly a quarter century ago brought a wood fire oven from Milan, Italy to make, like his mother, fresh homemade bread and pizzas. Moreover, Frugatti's Restaurant offers you not only the very best in Southern Italian cooking, even importing the finest ingredients for authentic Italian food, including a fitness menu. After all, Ralph has represented the United States and Italy, competing in the Master Championship Games. He knows all the right food for good fitness, so check out the menu. After today's broadcast, run over to Frugatti's Italian Restaurant and Catering at 600 Coffee Road here in Bakersfield. And after a Friday, Saturday, or Sunday service, stop into Frugatti's for a great lunch. I'll see you there, and tell Mr. Ralph Frugoletti that Denice sent you. Salute. Bon appetito.
Ladies and gentlemen, when it comes to legal matters, contact Barb Reynolds. She is a contract paralegal to lawyers, and she will take good care of you. Moreover, she is a Kern County legal document assistant to pro per litigants. She has 47 years of paralegal experience, and for over 30 years has been an educator in the field of law and paralegal work. If you need help handling your adoption, bankruptcy, civil suit, divorce, debt consolidation, evictions, immigration, or attorney referrals, contact Barb Reynolds if you want to win your case. Call Tehachapi Court Services today at 661-822-1994. Barb is simply the best. Call Tehachapi Court Services today at 661-822-1994.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm so thrilled I've got the owner of Scope 365 Fitness here with me today, Craig Jansen, Navy veteran. Craig, tell the audience out there why everybody in town needs to come over here and join.
Well, Scope 365 is a 24-hour club, so we never close, unlike a lot of other clubs here in town. Additionally, our club is always super clean, and one of the things that you're going to find here is a different environment where we strive to give you a VIP experience here. So we want to get to know you. We want to know your story. We want to know about you and how we can help you succeed and meet all of your fitness goals.
Wonderful. Ladies and gentlemen, come on down to Scope 365 Fitness. You're located right here on Brim Hall. Tell us your other location.
We have another location up in Tehachapi. And then our third location here in town is also located over on Chester and Columbus in the Food Mac Shopping Center.
Thank you so much, Craig. You have a wonderful day.
You too. Thank you.
Have Aileen Blachowski. She's right there in front fighting a battle for the young people of California from the age of 4 through high school. And there is a real move based on a bill that was passed by Democrats called AB 329 that we have to demand gets repealed. I'm going to give you Gavin Newsom's number. It's 916-445-2841. 916-445-2841. I want you to call him, and I want you to demand that the repeal of AB 329 happens. And I want you to, you're going to have to go to, I guess, what do they have to do, Robert? There's not, ladies and gentlemen, there's not a general number. This is the bottom line. So when we call Washington, D.C., as I often ask you to do, there's a switchboard number for the Capitol, so you can ask to speak to whoever you want to speak to. The same for the Senate. But we don't have that in the state of California, so I can't just say to you, oh, call the Assembly switchboard or call the California State Senate switchboard. I can't do that. So what can they do, Robert?
What they really have to do, I know that with the Assembly, they go to the Assembly website, California, the assembly.gov, and they can... Assembly.gov.
They go to California stateassembly.gov. Is that exactly what they do?
Let me double check that, but I do know that what they have to go directly to their own assemblyman and their own senator and contact them directly. They can use, and usually with the Senate, and what I'm finding out now is that you can only contact them through email. You can't call them.
For Pete's sake.
Yeah, I'm trying to find phone numbers.
We can call them. I'm sure they have phone numbers. We have the phone numbers for the Judiciary Committee, for example. Just get the specifics and then come back when you've got it. So, ladies and gentlemen, we've only got about 15 more minutes with Aileen, but I want to ask you to hang on and get your paper and pencils ready, because I want you to call or email your state assemblyman and your state senator. Aileen, you just started to share some more news and information that just, I think is an exclusive for the Denice Gary Show. What was it you started to say when we came back from break?
Yes, it is an exclusive, and I do have some more information about a piece of pending legislation that is a stopgap, at least, that'll help us push back, at least for the youngest learners, so that the loophole in the law that allowed this garbage to be taught to kids as young as kindergarten up to 6th grade. There is a law right now. It's Senate Bill 673. Senator Mike Morrell is sponsoring this bill, and it's a sort of a parent oversight or parent transparency bill. And what it does is it removes this mandate on the sexual orientation and gender identity stuff, and it says, look, if you're going to teach any topic under the law or any material for any kids pre-K through grade 6, you would have to get an active parental opt-in to do that. So it's not an automatic, you get to teach this at any grade. That's the biggest piece of the legislation. It also requires that school districts link all the materials that they're going to teach to students on their district website, and it does a few things there. So I mean, those are the big parts of it.
It puts on every school district's website the materials that are going to be taught on gender identity and this pornographic sex ed material that I'm looking at stuff I've never even heard of or seen before. It's going to put all that up on the school district's website. That's according to this SB 673 you're telling us?
Right, because right now what happens when parents go into a school district, if they're diligent enough and they say, I want to review the curriculum that you're teaching my child, I want to see for myself, you can do that. If you have children in public schools, you call the district office and you ask them explicitly, what are you using to comply with AB 329 right now in schools? What grade is it being taught in, and what time of the year do you teach it, and what is your opt-out policy? Can I opt out of all of it? Now, parents typically get the answer that yes, you can opt out of everything. And then you want to follow that up by saying, so you mean everything, including the sexual orientation and gender identity information, I can opt out of all of it? And then they're going to tell you the truth. They're going to say, well, no, you can't. So make sure that you're diligent and you go in and you look at that material for yourself. Don't take anybody else's word for it. Don't take our word for it. That's why we call ourselves informed parents. We want you to be an informed parent. Go look at it for yourself. So you want to do that first thing. And so, and parents are generally shocked. There's always something. Even the most liberal parents are a little miffed by some stuff they see in there, because you don't really want your daughter being told to use her lip gloss as a lubricant. I mean, that's just not okay.
Okay.
No, and they're telling kids to use Vaseline, and you know what? Petroleum products will actually break down latex in the condom. So it's medically inaccurate information. It puts kids at risk. So that's the other piece of the law. It requires that all instruction be medically accurate. And right now there's a goofy little language loophole that says may in one place and shall in another. So it closes that loophole and requires that all instruction be medically accurate. So, I mean, that's an important one. If you're going to call your legislators and you're going to ask them to repeal AB 329, say, at least if you can't do that right now, get behind 673, SB 673, see this to the floor, get a vote on it, and please protect the youngest learners from being exposed to this stuff.
Ladies and gentlemen, do you know that in this curriculum, I'm looking at a page called the Sexual Health Tool Kit. The Sexual Health Tool Kit. And on the page, it says improving female satisfaction. And it's telling children how to have great sex. And it gives tips on postponing male ejaculation. Can you please tell me how that has anything to do with teaching health ed? What does that have to do with teaching sexual health education? And then further down it shows safer sex and lubrication. Lubrication promotes a safer sex experience by decreasing abrasive friction. Using lubrication enhances the pleasure during sex. Additives in lubricants, such as glycerin, can create an environment that is friendlier to yeast infection. I mean, on and on. Water-based lubricants, oil-based lubricants, silicone-based lubricants, saliva. I mean, I've never even... this is unbelievable.
No, it really does. It promotes that's a hallmark of comprehensive sexuality education, that it promotes sexual pleasure at the expense of sexual health. And that's another reason why parents should be really alarmed. But I'm going to tell you about something else, because you alluded to it at the beginning of this conversation. And this really is breaking news for your audience, because I just got the video of it right before I called in. There is a school district down here in Orange County, Brea Olinda School District. They were holding an information meeting for parents. Since we've all been pretty active, and we had like a SeXXX sit-out statewide in February, and we hit them in the pocketbooks. We hit schools in the pocketbooks, and they didn't like that we took our kids out of school. So in an effort to try and entice us to come to the table and appease us parents, they started having information meetings to say, look, we're being transparent. We want to talk to you about this. So they give you their snow job of a presentation. And the founder of Informed Parents was at this meeting today. She asked questions at the end of the meeting, and they kept saying, okay, time's over. And you'll see that at the beginning of this video, and you can maybe put it up for your listeners.
Oh, yeah, I'll put it on the show tomorrow.
She says, so you're not going to answer my question? And she said, no, I'll be happy to answer the question. For you little people over here, these group of ladies right over here, what is your question? And Stephanie asked, can you explain to me why you're teaching pederasty? Pederasty is the practice of pedophilia, specifically man-boy sex. Why are you teaching that in your history curriculum? And she says, excuse me? And she has to repeat herself, and then she says, we are just teaching historical perspectives on gender relations and sexual orientations. And Stephanie asks, and you hear it in the video, she says, are you saying that pedophilia is a sexual orientation? And she doesn't answer the question. The assistant superintendent is the woman answering these questions. And she says, we are teaching historical perspective. Can you even believe that? They're teaching pedophilia in our schools.
You know, I'm just overwhelmed by our conversation. I've looked at these pictures. I mean, again, these are things I wouldn't even think about putting up on the screen for people to see. It's nothing that my mother ever taught me about.
No, you know what? Nobody should be teaching any children about pedophilia. Adults should be trusted, not enticing children into sex. And it's so abhorrent at this point. Like I said, this is definitely a bipartisan issue. I don't know how many Democrats want, adults enticing their children for sex. And at the same time, we have Democrats trying to lower the criminal penalties for luring children into sex while they're pushing this garbage in our classrooms. And then they're trying to teach children about sex, the language of consent. What is next? Are they going to lower the age of consent to 10? What do they, I mean, do they just want child sex to be available so we don't have to deal with the sex trafficking anymore? Where is this going? People need to ask some serious questions. We can't tolerate this state-sanctioned sexual exploitation of children in our classrooms at all, anymore, period, full stop.
You know, I believe what they're asking teachers to do is to normalize pedophilia, and to normalize it so that it won't it won't remain a crime. And I don't know who's behind that, but the fact that they would try to normalize pedophilia in the classroom, and you've got the assistant superintendent. The assistant superintendent, is her name Carrie Torres?
It is.
So the assistant superintendent, Carrie Torres, down at Brea Olinda School District in Orange County, if anybody wants to look up her number, if anybody wants to look up the number of Brea Olinda School District in Orange County, you might want to have a little chat with her. I mean, I don't care where you are in the state of California. You might want to hold this woman accountable for saying how important it is to talk about historic perspectives with regards to pedophilia.
Yeah, and this really comes to us via a bill called SB 48. They called it the FAIR Act, and it was passed in 2011. And again, another bill that the Democrats kind of sit on, and they don't really bring to the floor until they line up all the rest of their ducks. And so right now, across the state of California, many school districts are going through brand new history, social studies, textbook adoption, and you would find this kind of information and highlighting gay or lesbian,
LGBT
people in history, whether it's California history or otherwise, whether it was corroborated and a true fact, during their lives, or whether we're just going to assign this gender identity to them or this orientation to them after they've died. This is going on in our history textbooks. Parents need to be paying close attention. But all of this only comes to a close when parents rise up, stand together as a unified front, and say we won't tolerate this anymore, which is what we're doing at the Capitol next Thursday, March 28th at 10 o'clock in the morning on the south steps of the Capitol. We will rally, and we will rally against AB 329. We will rally against the health education framework, which is like, it's the bus driver, it's the steering wheel that's going to drive all this indoctrinating material into the classrooms, into the teaching instructions, all the way down to kindergarten. We're going to make public comment at an Instructional Quality Commission meeting just following the rally. And we're going to tell them, reject this framework. Parents do not want it. We want education, not indoctrination. We are not protesters, we are protectors of our kids, and we are not activists. We're parents who love all kids and want their health and mental well-being safe and not subject to all of this chaos.
Right. So March 28th, what day is that? Is that
It's a Thursday.
Thursday, okay. So March 28th, next Thursday at 10 a.m., there at the Capitol. Tell us where parents that are going to hear this broadcast and want to attend this rally at the Capitol to demand an end to the sexualizing and indoctrinating our children of really what amounts to, I think, is pornographic material, and a promotion and an effort to normalize transgender LGBT kinds of thinking. How do they get a hold of you? Do they just go to your Facebook page, Inform Parents of California? What do they do, Aileen?
Yes, they can go to our Facebook page, Inform Parents of California. We are like completely grassroots. It's not like we're backed by any organization. We're quite literally a group of parents that are just pulling this together, and we're getting incredible traction. We have a little placeholder website where you can get some more information. It's informparents.org.
Informparents.org, okay.
Yeah, and so you'll get the general information about the rally and about how to, we had some buses from Southern California that we were sending up there, so there's some information about the buses, but your audience is in the central part of the state, and I would just say, gather up, rent a van, get 10 or 12 of you. Look, look, these kinds of fights are going to take sacrifice. I understand. It's going to take a day off of work. You may have to pull your kids out of school for a day. Right. But what is it worth? These are our kids' lives, their souls, their bodies, their hearts, their future ability to have healthy relationships.
It's
priceless. We have to fight this.
Right. We've got to have a stable, mentally healthy society. And if we're going to confuse people with all of this crazy gender fluidity stuff and, let's teach our teenagers and middle schoolers how to lubricate themselves for sex, and then embrace the idea of running out and having same sex. And I mean, I think about not only the mental illness, but some of the physical diseases that can result as a result of this. And my audience, Aileen, is heard up and down the state and across the country. We're heard on iTunes, SoundCloud, internet radio, my YouTube channel. Ladies and gentlemen, if you have friends that don't do Facebook, have them go to the Denice Gary Show on my YouTube channel, the Denice Gary Show. Click on videos, and they'll see this video dated, what is today, the 21st? Thursday, March 21st. Just click videos on the Denice Gary Show YouTube channel. For those that, again, have friends and family or colleagues that don't do Facebook, just have them check out this broadcast on my YouTube channel. Aileen, thank you so much. Oh, just hang on. My producer has a question for you.
I have a quick question.
He's a parent of 3.
I have a quick question. I was going through the material you sent earlier, and I saw something on there about pornography. That they were actually, I don't know if they were going to show pornography or there were pictures of pornography or what was it. But I was really disturbed with the fact that a 5-year-old would be exposed to porn. Because not only do you normalize it, you legitimize it, but you give them access to something that they are just not ready for and may even want to perform it themselves. And I was wondering what I didn't know if that was, I couldn't believe something like that was actually going to be taught. And
you know what, we, as a result of yesterday's training here in our county, we are hearing from teachers, and this was a preschool director who reported back to us and told us, oh my goodness, you can't imagine the number of library books and resource books that are, like you said, pornographic. A lot of times when we show them to the media, they have to blur them out for their viewing audience. Right. But the books that our kids are looking at in school are not blurred out. They are seeing full pictures of people they're cartoon, like it is cartoon porn, and they're seeing the throes of people in the throes of sex, masturbating, and so forth. I mean, they're showing pictures of naked bodies, a few of them standing together, so that you can point out the differences from body to body and private parts. I mean, what kind of madness is this? Again, it is happening. The preschool director who attended the training yesterday and who was presented with all this information corroborated the fact that, indeed, they are intending to drill this down all the way to preschool, Head Start, daycare, anything that's Title 22 funded, which I don't have all my marbles wrapped around what Title 22 funding is, but anything that has to do with daycares are going to be subject and required to do this. What kind of oppression is this? This is a tyrannical assault on American values, and I don't know who it's going to take or what it's going to take, but we got to take it down.
Does this include charter schools too?
It does, sadly. Charter schools were mandated. There was an extension of AB 329 onto charter schools. And so public charter schools, even if you're homeschooling from home, you are not safe. That mandate applies to you, and charter schools must comply by next school year. So it was called AB 2601, and it was passed in August of 2018.
AB 2601 for charter schools, huh? Wow.
Yes, so charter schools are not safe. A lot of people say, well, I'll pull my kids from public schools and I'll put them in charters. You know, You're going to be required to comply with the same mandate.
There's going to be teachers that aren't going to comply. I certainly am one of them. So basically, we'll be pink slipped as tenured faculty because we're not going to teach 328 in the public.
You know what? I heard a transcript of a teacher who attended an event recently called Time to Thrive in Anaheim, and it was some sort of inclusion conference for teachers. These are going on all over the state, and teachers are heading to these by the hundreds and by the thousands. And so even if we repeal this law, California has a massive problem because all of our teachers have already been soaked, boiled, and indoctrinated. And so a teacher asked the question, if she had a student who, like, let's say they said that they were transgender, or they thought they were gay or lesbian or something or other else, and the teacher inadvertently or purposefully, for their own personal beliefs, didn't use the correct gender pronouns, would that teacher, would the union be able to support that teacher and defend the teacher? And the presenter said, no, if your school has discrimination laws and gender identity and sexual orientation are included in the discrimination statement, no, the union can't defend that teacher. They're gonna get pink slip. They're gonna get fired. So they're either scaring the hell out of our teachers, which is wrong, or they're oppressing them into silence, which is also wrong. This needs to be looked at by a higher authority. California is getting overrun by indoctrinators extraordinaire. And it's time to bring the Constitution to bear on this issue for the sake of teachers, parents, and students and taxpayers.
We've got to take our schools back. We've got to take California back as far as I'm concerned, and I think the Democrats have been the ones that have been pushing this legislation. I know you don't want it to be a partisan issue, but it's been the Democrats that have really pushed this agenda. And I'm not afraid to say that, and I think they're destroying our Judeo-Christian values. Aileen, thank you so much for taking time out of your super busy day to come on the Denice Gary Show. We greatly appreciate it, and we want to have you back. I hope that's okay.
Oh, I'd love to come back. Thanks so much for highlighting this issue. Very, very important. Thank you, Denice.
Thank you. You have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.
Thanks.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to have to go to a break. When we get back, I don't even know where to begin. We'll be right back. Thank you.
Trump has correctly stated that economic security is national security. And in the Tehachapi Mountains of Kern County resides a United States defense contractor, Anates Products. Here is the Silicon Valley of the aerospace industry, right here in East Kern. Anates Products is a forward-leaning manufacturer and distributor of hardware sold to major defense and aerospace companies. We're talking about Boeing, Lockheed Martin, United Technologies, Northrop Grumman, Raytheon General Electric, and on the list goes, as well as to every United States ally worldwide, including Israel, America's most important strategic ally in the Middle East. And for everything that flies, Anates Products is providing the parts. And with me today is the president of Anates Products, Scott Baker. Hi, Scott.
How you doing?
Scott, tell us why you believe this corner of Kern County is the hub of the aerospace industry.
Well, this portion of Southern California here out in the Antelope Valley, it contains, some of the most cutting edge technology going on in aviation today. We have some of the UCAS programs with unmanned technologies going on. We have Edwards Air Force Base out here who's doing continual testing in their area. We have the Naval Weapons Station up there at China Lake doing some fantastic cutting edge stuff, cruise missile technology, and those things are going on. We have Scale Composites locally doing a lot of composite technology, which is new. We have SpaceX, which is a private one, putting a private entity putting things into space now. This area is the growth center for aviation's future, and this is the area I think that as a nation we need to be concentrating some of our effort and taking this technology. And as we all know, with the space program from Apollo years ago, out of these technologies, we, the private sector, are going to reap some of the benefits of that.
Thank you, Scott. Ladies and gentlemen, Scott Baker, president of Anates Products. Anates Products, located in the beautiful mountains of Tehachapi, California, in eastern Kern County, is home to some of the most innovative and specialized technologies in the world, including those at the U.S. Naval Air Warfare Center, Weapons Division at China Lake, Edwards Air Force Base, as well as Stratolaunch, launching satellites capable of delivering multiple orbits in a single flight to space. And it is Anatase Products that has provided the manufactured devices, and the president, Scott Baker of Anatase Products, Marine Corps veteran, reactivated on 9/11 to monitor threats to the homeland, is carrying on a tradition of providing for the security of the United States by manufacturing every kind of fastener on anything that flies, as well as providing a full testing destructive laboratory. Contact Anatase Products, now in business for 30 years, at 661-822-6873. Located at 1314 Goodrich Drive in Tehachapi for your manufacturing and testing needs today.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, where to begin? I was going back during break, and I was looking at a page at the Princess Boy book for kindergarten children in grades 1 and 2 and 3. And again, I thought it was interesting that one of the individuals that read the book said it was confusing. This is an adult about reading The Princess Boy. He said it's confusing. He says this book is confusing, makes it seem like boys are not boys and girls are not girls. Very confusing. I thought that was probably really better stated than anything else. Anyway, can you imagine your teacher is being told to discuss gender with kindergartens by exploring gender stereotypes and asking open-ended questions such as, what are preferred colors? What are preferred toys? What are preferred activities for boys and girls? And then challenging the things that those children say. So picture this. You're a teacher in the classroom and the little boy says, he loves, what do boys love? Boys love trains, right? Cars, trains, they like to build. So you're going to challenge a little boy and put him on the spot in a kindergarten classroom because he says to you, he likes to play with cars, or he likes to play with trucks, or, he likes building blocks. What else do boys like? Guns, Are we going to challenge them on that? Maybe we have the next best sniper in the whole world that's going to join the United States Army. I mean, why would you confront a kindergartner or a first grade or a second or third grader on the gender that they identify with when they're born as a boy or they're born as a girl? I mean, why would you do that? I just don't understand why you would create confusion, self-doubt. I mean, think about this. Wouldn't that create self-doubt? If you're a little boy or a little girl and some teacher, authority figure, is challenging you, if you say, well, I like pink, which I do. You probably know that from looking at my lipstick and my fingernail polish. I've always loved pink, but I was born a girl. So it's just one of those things. I love the color pink. Nothing wrong with that. And I know, did you notice, I mean, just thinking out loud, looking at you, Robert. Yeah. Robert's wearing a blue baseball cap that has a big red B on it. What does that stand for?
Boston.
Boston. So he's wearing a blue cap with a red B and a blue shirt. And a red shirt that also has blue. I guess you like blue, Robert.
It's also got superheroes on it, so.
Oh, superheroes. Well, he's a father of 3. He's got to wear a superhero t-shirt. Listen, ladies and gentlemen, this is who you need to connect with. Go to www.assembly, www.assembly members. Let me say it again. You've got it up on the screen, right? Okay. www.assembly.ca.gov/assembly members. For the Senate, Shannon Grove, she's a Republican leader in the... Do we have her phone number?
I don't have her number.
Okay.
Find it.
Well, she's our senator from this area where I'm broadcasting from. Give her a call. Tell her this is crazy, and you want her to lead an effort on repealing AB 329. So call Shannon Grove. She's a senator here for our area.
I have her capital number. I just
You have her capital number. What is Shannon Grove's capital number?
916-651-4016.
Okay, so you can tell Senator Shannon Grove here in the state of California, she can listen to the Denice Gary Show. She can listen to it on Facebook. She can listen to it on the YouTube channel, the Denice Gary Show. Just click on videos. You can click on videos, or I think you can also click on the words, the Denice Gary Show, and it gives you them in numeric order, in date order. And just say, just listen to this show. Wow. And that'll tell her what she needs to know, and hopefully she'll join that rally up there on March 28th. What does she say? 10 o'clock in the morning, and then they're going to have they're going to call for a reversal of mandates for comprehensive sexuality education. They're going to have a discussion on that. And but I'm telling you, people, I've looked at all the material that Aileen has sent to me, and it's pornographic, it's inappropriate. There's nothing about it to me that deals with the biology of functional sex organs or pubescent changes in a teenager's body. To me, it's not about transmitting disease. It's not a health ad. It's not health ad. What it's doing is it's teaching sex, and it's teaching people to be confused about who they are and how they were born and what they were born as. So I hope that you'll encourage all your legislators to listen to this show, the Denice Gary Show, Thursday, March 21st. And oh, by the way, we need your help. We need your help to stay on the air. I don't work for anybody. I'm an independent broadcaster, so I get to say all these things without worried about being fired. Unless, of course, the school district decides to fire me. And I teach adults in the school district, so who knows, they might. But at any rate, it's called free speech, and as an independent broadcaster, I'm not paid by anyone. So I encourage you to support the Denice Gary Show. If you would like to send your support, please do so. If you want to make it tax deductible, you can write a check out to the Middle East Initiative, P.O. Box 82162, Bakersfield, California 93380. Go to my website, A New Middle East. If you want to just send it to the Denice Gary Show at Post Office Box 82162, Bakersfield, California 93380. That is terrific, and that just helps cover all the costs and the long distance phone calls and all of the ink for all of the paper for all of the... What do we print out today? 150 pages?
Yeah.
This is incredible, but I wanted to see for the show today the things that were being said and the pictures that were being shown, and I'm telling you, we can't show it on the broadcast. Yes, Mr. Producer.
I was going to say, you didn't even believe me when I was showing you some of the stuff I
emailed some of the things that I had received to Robert. He could take a look at this. I thought he's a parent of 3 teenagers, right? And he might have some questions, and you did. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for listening and supporting the Denice Gary Show. We'll be right back with you tomorrow. Please support this broadcast. Share it with the President of the United States. He needs to know what's going on here in California. He'd be horrified as well. We need the President in the state of California. Mr. President, please come to California. Help us drain the swamp in California. We desperately need your help, Mr. President. Thank you so much. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for listening. This is Denise on the Denise Gary Show, signing off.
Thank you for listening to the Denise Gary Show. Intelligent talk media.